And I'm live. Hello, and welcome to Thursday Night Facebook Card Class with CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Salt Lake City, Utah. If you are catching me live, or if you're catching the replay, please make sure you drop a comment. I would love to know who's here. And yeah, I'm very glad you're here. So when you nope, don't know where that thought was going. So it's been that kind of week. Let's see, I have just a few things to share. So in case you haven't seen all of the buzz all over everywhere from demonstrators, hey Janie, thanks for sharing. There is a color refresh coming and new in colors coming, and information about that was shared yesterday with demonstrators. So if you want to be on the inside and always know what's coming and get early access to things, the way to do that is to sign up as a demonstrator. Super easy, really no commitment. It's $100 and you get to pick $125 in product. And then you are on my Queen Bees stamping team. And you get all of my PDFs as well as community and lots of other benefits from Stampin' Up! Too. So something to consider, especially with the new catalog coming, if your wish list is as big as I'm realizing mine is going to be, that's going to be your best way to shop, is to have a 20% discount. So that is something to consider. And then I have some classes coming up, and I'll share more about my class to go here in just a minute. But I did want just to make sure that everyone knows I have an in-person class coming on April 10th, and that's a Monday night here at my house. So there's a link to go get registered for that. And it's going to probably be an homage to lots of retiring things, because I was realizing that there are things I haven't even gotten to play with. Hey, Mom. Thank you for joining. So then tonight's live is about the paper pumpkin from March, which is called 10 Years of Growth. So it's the 10th anniversary of Paper Pumpkin, and so they did this really gorgeous kit. So I'm excited to share that with you. And if you want to make sure that you get the next kit, it is called All the Little Things. And it features cherry blossoms and iridescent foiling, and what else? You'll get all the usuals. So an ink spot, which this month will be Shaded Spruce, and a stamp set that you can't get anywhere else. And it will make 9 cards. And then it also has an organizer in it. So you'll be able to put together this kind of grid of little pockets that you can use to organize all of your leftover bits from paper pumpkins. So it fits right into a paper pumpkin box. So that's going to be really handy. And that this paper pumpkin is the only way to get that. So make sure you are registered for that no later than April 10th. And I think other than that, I just need to... Oh, so one thing, the retiring list came out with the color information. And so there's a ton of stuff that will be going away as of May 1st, I think, will be the last day. But everything is now while supplies last. So if there's anything that you've had your eye on but haven't gotten yet, now is the time. And there are some things that will be discounted starting April 4th, which I have no idea what day that is. Is it Tuesday of next week? Yeah, I think it's Tuesday. However, if it runs out before that discount period starts, then it's just gone. And if you start your cart today thinking that you'll just, how do I say this? That you'll just close it out and actually place the order on April 4th, don't do that, because you won't get the discounted rate. So you're going to have to start with an empty cart on the 4th if you are going for the discounted items. So that's confusing a little bit. It's a lot of information. If you have questions, please let me know because I'm happy to, you know, email you or talk you through it or whatever you need. So that is that. Yeah, I'm gonna flip the camera and oh, you get to see what we're doing. So let me fix the lighting. And I started playing with this kit and I just love the stamp sets. They're so good. So I made 3 different projects here that I'm going to demonstrate one, and I will show you kind of the little tricks or techniques or whatever that you need for the other 2. First, I did forget to mention that it's the last couple of days to get my tutorial bundles with any online order. So for a $35 order in my online store, you get this Sweet Stampin' Friends tutorial, and it's got 10 different projects from several of my fellow demonstrators, and they are all beautiful. And I think I told you something's wrong with my printer, so the colors on this are wonky, so it will look better on your screen. So there's that. And then with a, now that I'm looking at it, I can't remember if it's a $75 order or a $100 order that you get the Sweethearts tutorial. And this month it was 16 projects, and they are from designers all around the world. And they're just so great. And there's never a single stamp set that we use. We just have a theme for both of these bundles. So you never know exactly what you're going to get, which is really fun. So make sure that if you want those, you place an order. And I really do appreciate all of your orders. It's a lot of time and work to put together not only the projects, which that part I totally love, but also the emails and the tutorials and everything that I do offer. And so your orders really help me continue doing that. So these are the projects that I did. Oh, that's upside down. The projects that I did for the next month's bundles. So April's bundles. Okay, that is what I got. So I am going to bring that where you can see it. And that is my current host code. So if you are placing an order, I would love it if you would put in that host code. Stampin' Up! Is really, really frowning upon us going back in and adding the host code for you. So please remember to do that. And if you don't know how, ask me and I will walk you through it. So this was the first card that I made, and I have been on a serious heat embossing kick lately. I don't know if it shows terribly well, but I did the leaves in Versamark and then the lilies in white. And since Easter is in, 10 days, I thought that this was just so beautiful. And then Happy is one of the stamps, and I just trace a line kind of around it to give it a halo, and then I cut out on that line. So that's how it looks, fairly consistent, certainly not as good as a die, but that is how I did that. And then I just stamped the pot and cut it out. And then these are little like pebbles or something. I don't know what the designers we're expecting people to do with it, but I used it kind of as just to ground my pot. And I did that in Versamark without embossing anything. So that is that one. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. This one, I thought, we can always do a fun fold. So it's a super simple fun fold. You just score your 5.5 by 8.5 at 4 1/4, and then also at 2 1/8. And that's how you get kind of that Z thing going on. And then it's just a regular size panel here. So the Evening Evergreen is 4 by 5 1/4. And then these, so the darker pink is a stamp that is in this one. So it's that right there. And then this, there is a stamp in the bonus set that is that leaf pattern, but it's just the outlines. So to do this, what I did was, this pack of die cuts was in the kit. And so I just flipped it over because obviously I haven't used it all yet. And then I used a Post-it to make sure I didn't go over the edge onto my cardstock. And then I just used my blender brush, you know, set it on here and brushed on some ink and then moved it around. So that is how I did that. And it's not like this is news, but this open weave ribbon has been so gorgeous for the last couple of years, and it is leaving. And I actually finished my bolt of it with this card. So I really love this ribbon. It's very sad. And actually that punch is going too. And I was kind of blown away by that. So there is that. And I did just do one little stamp on the inside. So that's that one. And then this is the one that we are going to make. And I can't remember what that paper is called. Brush strokes, maybe, I think is what it is. But it's so pretty, and you really just can't even see the texture, but it does have some shimmer to it, and it's lovely. And it comes in 3 colors. I want to say it's a blue, a pink, and a soft succulent, but I can't remember the exact shades. So this card is done in soft succulent and polished pink and evening evergreen, which are 3 of the in colors that are retiring. So this is what we're going to get up to. And there's a little bit of masking to this card. So, oh, I've got all these card liners that I need to put in here in a minute. But just, again, a standard 5.5 by 8.5. So a half a piece of cardstock, scored the long side at 4 1/4. And I am just going to burnish that score line because it's not sitting very well. So there is that. And this is my beautiful paper there. And this is 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm not actually doing a tutorial for this project. You know, I was making fun of Joe last week for his man cold. Turns out it was the dreaded virus, and we sure did get it. So Emily and I have been down sick all week. So I just haven't been as productive because, for one, she's been home, and for 2, my energy level has just not been there. So that's what's going on at our house. Plus, it snowed like 4 inches today. And when is April? Like 2 days? So yeah, not loving that. Let me just tell you. Okay, let me unbury that and figure out what stamps I'm starting with. So what I did was apparently not cut a piece of basic white for this project. So hang on just a second. It is, well, you think Emily like interrupted me or something? Because she decided that quiet time was done, and so she wanted to come help while I was trying to finish all this up. And so that's how she ended up helping me go through the retiring products list, which, you know, at least I was able to do, so that was helpful. All right, so this one is, okay, 3 by 4 1/4. And, oh, thanks, Aunt Pat. Yeah, so I'm actually fine, but I was trying to be good and do the 5 days of isolation that are still the recommendation, which is fine. I mean, it's not like we felt amazing. We just weren't that sick. But anyway, it's, yeah, I had the vaccine last month, so I was really mad that I got sick. It seems unnecessary, if you ask me. So anyway, but thank you for your concern. So I am first going to stamp this cute little vase, and I'm going to do it in Soft Succulent, and I'm going to do it twice, and let me just show you why. So first I want it here. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this scrap piece of Evening Evergreen. So that is almost like stamping in Versamark on there. Like you just can kind of barely see it, but I wanted it to be subtle. So, oh no, I'm not done with this thing. So there's that. And now I'm going to grab just a piece of scrap paper and cover up where that pot is. And I'm going to bring in first my leaf. It almost looks like palms to me, like the palms that we use when we go into church for Palm Sunday. So I don't know if that was the intent or if it's some other kind of plant that I just don't know, but it's very, very nice. So I'm going to stamp off like that. So I just didn't want it to be full strength ink, so that's why I am stamping over there. And now I'm going to, so it needs to look like it's coming out of the pot, obviously. Yeah, so that's why I didn't want anything down below. So now we need the lilies. And yes, I know Easter lilies are traditionally white, but I decided that they're going to be pink today. So this is going to be full strength Soft Succulent. And part of why I chose this color for the ink is then I don't really have to color the foliage. I can just have the color suggestion be there. All right, so there is that, and you can see how that stands out really nicely. We are done with the Soft Succulent, so I'm going to set that aside, and we can color. So I will not try to tell you that I am a brilliant colorer. Yeah. I don't have the patience for a lot of the technique that I see other demonstrators using. But when the images are small like this, I just really don't think it matters all that much. So I added the dark marker along the lines that were already here from the stamp. And then I'm just using the light marker to blend them out so that you don't have any really sharp lines. And that is what is so nice about the Stampin' Blends. They're alcohol markers, and so they dry quickly, but they also just really don't give any of the lines, like the coloring brushstroke kind of lines. So there is that. And I actually think this one is a lily bud, so we're going to color that. And this one is too. So, I'm trying to think what else has been exciting. Joe and I were going to try to go skiing tomorrow night because I swear I'm going to learn. I mean, it's been the goal all season. And it is supposed to be like blizzard conditions tomorrow. So we are currently under a winter storm advisory warning. I can't remember which one. But anyway, that would take away the fun of skiing for me. So I think we're going to hold and hope maybe Easter weekend, although that is such a busy weekend just in general. But I don't know. So, what is the weather crazy like this in other parts of the country? I mean, there's always like the usual spring and then backtrack a little bit and that kind of thing, but this just feels excessive. And, you know, Joe, being the avid skier that he is, watches like the snow reports really closely. And Alta is one of the ski resorts, and it has reported, like, he hasn't told me in a few days because he's been out of town, but as of last weekend, they had reported 750 inches of snow this season, which is insane. So, yeah, hopefully Lake Powell and the Great Salt Lake and our reservoirs and everywhere else will be at least partially replenished. I mean, obviously, years of drought don't resolve in one good snow year. Anyway, they're really correct. It's true. But you know, when you have to plan because of needing a babysitter, it makes it a little challenging to just hope that they are wrong. So, all right, there is our Lily. And again, those were the polished pink blends. So, got that. Now we are just going to cut out our cute little pot here. And I want to leave a halo, but I don't want to leave very much of a halo. So, we'll get rid of that. Hey, Laura, thanks for being here. Nice to see your name pop up. So Joe was actually in Dallas until this evening, and he was telling me that one of the guys that was also at this training he was doing at their corporate office lives in Clovis, which, you know, if you're familiar with West Texas, you will totally recognize. And so he's over in Lubbock a lot. So he was telling Joe about some place called Dirks, I believe. Is that something that you guys have heard of or been to? Joe said next time we're in Lubbock, he wants to go. And also, he will probably call this coworker and, you know, have lunch with him. It's crazy to be thinking of networking to that degree, but, you know, it's pretty fun. And he also really enjoyed the weather in Dallas. So, yeah, I think he, even being the skier that he is about done. So, all right, there is that. Before I stick this on the Evening Evergreen mat, I want to punch it with my very best trio punch. So I just wanted the corners to be pretty. So I'm going to do that. And now I could rotate and do like that, right? But that would change which piece was where. So instead, I'm going to actually flip it over, keeping it in the same orientation, like portrait. Get it up against the tracks or guides here, and then punch it there. Oh, actually, I'm not done with that. Okay, so you see they match. So, or they're mirror images, I guess. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to my Evening Evergreen panel. And this one is 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. You guys can tell that I designed these today because I still remember the dimensions without actually having them in front of me. So, yeah. I knew Facebook Live was coming, and I don't know, I didn't have the creative energy to design something. So, anyway, I started actually by just making the cards that were included in the kit, and that sort of got things going, got me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I don't know if you know this, but Paper Pumpkin also does a blog, and they put alternate project ideas on that blog every month. And then they also, let's see, if you look at the directions, which are always, right, Janie? It is so true. The directions are always really, really helpful too. And these included these really pretty alternate projects. So you can always do that. Rachel Tessman is a demonstrator who really leans into the Paper Pumpkin designs. And so she always creates some really amazing projects. So you can make your paper pumpkin do just about as much as you could dream of. All right, so I'm going to stick this on here. I keep bumping everything. And let's just center this up right on the card front. And then make sure it's straight. All right, so there is that. Now I need to stamp a sentiment. So I think Here's to Another Year of Growth was on the included stamp set. So at least I'm assuming that the one that was more sentiments was the included one and the flowers were bonus. But I don't actually know that for a fact because I don't know if they tell you that anywhere. So theoretically that stamp is straight. So yeah, we are just going to stamp this, and I feel like Here's to Another Year of Growth. I mean, obviously that can be birthday, but it could also be like end of school year, or oh, that is so crooked. That makes me sad. Okay, let's hope and pray I get it straight this time. Having the stamp right in my way is probably not the best plan. Oh, there we go. That'll work. Throw that back on there so I don't lose it. Okay. Yeah, isn't that pretty? So, I'm going to bring in my Banners Pick a Punch. And if you guys don't have this, I don't know how you haven't because I share it almost every week. But it is sticking around, so that's nice. Okay, so we are going to feed it in here. And it's a weird, the label that I cut is a weird size. So it is not going to fit in the tracks just right. Oh, and I cut it a little short, but that's okay. Ooh, I could trim that down, but I am just not going to be that fussy. So this is going to go like that. And so what happened is that I had a 6x12 piece of this paper left from a paper share. With every new catalog, I do a paper share, so you get just a little bit of all the new papers instead of having to decide like, oh, well, I like this one the best, so I can get that one this month, or, you know, whatever. It's just nice to have them all, especially because the paper is always so much better in person than it ever looks in the catalog. So anyway, that is why I had a 6x12. And so I cut off 2 inches, and then that left me with this 3/4 inch piece of this that I didn't want to waste. So let's just get a little seal on here. And then I'm going to line this up so that it sticks out a little bit more than it would have if I had left it in one piece. And then, oh my goodness, this is where I get so overthinking things, but there you go. So we just need a couple of dimensionals and we are done. All right, so while we have, oh, I lost one. Did it fly? I don't know what I did. While we have a couple of minutes, do you guys have any questions about anything that's coming or any ideas for techniques or certain products that you would like to see? Because, I mean, it's a lot to always be coming up with new ideas. And I do a fair share of casing. Oh man, that was not the piece I wanted to come up. As far as looking at what other demos are up to and then making it, you know, entirely mine as far as colors or patterns or stamps or, you know, whatever. Okay, there, that is straight. So if you have requests, please let me know, because I'm always happy to do my best to accommodate. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, I used my regular size polished pink pad. Say that 3 times fast. But the ink spot that was included was polished pink, so that's where the color scheme came from. And again, homage to Retiring Colors, because these, yeah, these are beautiful. So Janie, you're saying like an aqua painter, like this guy? Because we also have the blender pen, which, okay, perfect. So it's funny that you bring that up, because I actually have been doing a couple of classes. I don't know if you guys have heard of Dina Rigo. She is a wonderful demonstrator. She actually just celebrated her $2 million sales achievement here in Salt Lake at a retreat. So that was really cool. But one of her big things is watercoloring. And so I have done, let's see, I'm working on the second of her watercoloring trainings. So yeah, I can show you a couple of things that she had designed that I sort of managed to make work. This one I thought was really, really pretty. So these all used the watercolor pencils, and then either the water painters or the blender pen, or actually the color lifter. That's one of the Stampin' Blends. So some really neat techniques. Struggling to stay in the screen. This is all from Painted Poppies, and they are going away. They're so beautiful. Well, thanks, Laura. This one is super sweet and happy. And so my watercoloring is far from accomplished, but at least it's possible. So the reason it's funny that you say that is that I had been debating doing watercoloring in class at my house, and I may also do that, but this one I thought was wild because it is so not what you think of when you think of watercoloring. But anyway, super fun. So I may look at doing in person, but I will also start incorporating some online. And there's a new set of watercolor pencils coming with some of our new colors. I'm trying to think, there was something else I was going to tell you. You're a bit of a psychic. I love it. Yeah, who knows what else that other thing was I was going to tell you. I don't know. But I think that's a great idea. So I will work on that and keep those ideas coming. And I think I didn't show you the Queen Bee class. That was actually what I meant to show you, because you can register for it. You'll get a half a pack of the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper. And again, these things may run out. So when they run out, I have to close the class. But a bolt of this amazing petal pink ribbon. It's like soft polyester. It's so pretty. So this uses the Queen Bee bundle, and since my team is the Queen Bees, I had to use it. And the stamps are carrying over, but the dies are retiring. So good to know. This one is cute. Opens up like that. And this one, so it's kind of hard to see the stamping on the navy, but this one. And I love this one because it uses these Radiating Stitches dies that came out earlier this month. So that's really fun. And one more little fun fold. So this isn't technically a fun folds class, but I did incorporate a couple just to change it up a little bit. So you get 6 cards, and then all the product. You only need crumb cake and memento ink, so it is very, very accessible in terms of supplies, which is nice. I was trying to minimize just because I had no idea what yesterday was going to bring. So there is a link in the description of this video to register for that Queen Bee class. I have several different options. If if you have any questions, let me know. And I am so glad that you were all here. I appreciate the likes and the shares and the conversation. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend leading into April. And I will see you next week. Thanks, you guys.